Welcome back to the Shawaly Show, where we explore how global business meets the Arab world's transformation. Today, we're looking at Saudi Arabia at the halfway point of Vision 2030 and what this massive transformation means for construction, food security, sustainability, FDI, and especially for international SMEs. My guest today is Guilherme Jacobucci, aka William, a performance-driven executive with more than 25 years in mega project delivery and financing across Europe, South America, and the Middle East. For the past 17 years, he's specialized in executive project management and helping global firms execute some of Saudi's most ambitious developments, from Giga master plans to complex construction delivery. Guilherme, welcome. How are you doing today?
Yeah, thank you very much for this kind introduction. Everything is fine. So far, we are experience a very pleasant weather nowadays in Saudi, not like July and August where we have
Yeah,
high temperatures. So
yeah,
it's really nice to be outside, mainly at the end of the day. So thank you very much for having
definitely.
me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. You have a very interesting story that I would love to share with my audience and with everyone who is following us. You have also a big following on LinkedIn and other social media platforms. Let's start with your story, since we're talking about the story. You are Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, something like that. You're a citizen of the world,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you live in Saudi Arabia. How come?
Well, sometimes I wake up and I don't know where I'm from.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
basically, mom is Spanish, father Italian. With 1 year old, I had to follow my parents to Brazil, where my father followed his my grandfather's steps by running a family business. So pretty much the business was moved from Europe, Italy to Spain, from Spain to South America, where things really go well to my father and the business. And since my early ages, I had clear that I wanted to be either a pilot, plane pilot, or an engineer. And
Mm,
I think the destiny took me to the engineer side of as a profession, and I don't regret 1 second to do that. And then the older I became, uh, the more certain I was about my choice. And unfortunately, I didn't follow my father's steps because my father is an electrical engineer and I'm a civil engineer. But since early ages, let's say 13, 14, I've been going to the company, following my father's steps. And when I became 15, my father said, "You have to start working." And that was the point that I really had contact with the with civil engineer, with construction, mainly with infrastructure, and that was like love of on the first sight. So
yeah.
it was amazing. Um, Basically, I developed my career starting with a family company, and very soon after I started, let's say with 19 years, I decided to split and go take my own path. uh, my father's business was related purely with oil and gas and data networks. So it was pretty much the same during 4 or 5 years, and I wanted to explore the engineering market. And I had the opportunity to work in many segments. And today, after 28 years of experience and career, I don't tell people about my experience in construction, but I tell what I haven't experienced in construction. And the only two kind of projects that I never worked at is hydraulic dam and nuclear power plant. All the rest of engineering and construction I had experience: rail,
Mm.
high-speed rail, major infrastructure, minor infrastructure, retail, residential, real estate, all sort of.
Which one is the closest to your heart? Which sector?
I think because this is where I started at is infrastructure. Yeah. But
Yeah,
curiously, and during our conversation, I'm going to be able to explain the path that I've taken, and it's totally different from infrastructure. But I
yeah.
think, and believe me or not, after all these years, and all the experience that I've gathered all this time, every time that I get new projects, I find something that I learned on the past, technically speaking, that I learned on the past that is useful till today.
Mm.
Till today, this is something that is useful. Either is structural, hydraulical, plumbing, anything that
Mm.
I learned long time ago or recently even, it's
Yeah.
useful today. And I
It's very
think,
funny. You can also connect the dots backwards. You realize afterwards that, hey, thanks to this experience, now I can, you can apply something you learned in one field to the other field, right? I can
yes,
also see you
yes,
have the entrepreneurial genes in your family. So your father was an entrepreneur as well. Now it makes sense why you're an engineer and entrepreneur as well.
yeah.
Uh,
So
yeah.
so so it's very good because during my experience as a manager, as a director, unfortunately, always find professionals that are not really professionals. They try to cheat you or to drive you to the wrong side, either technically or administratively. And because of this background, they cannot.
Yeah.
Don't try to manipulate me because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
And of
been
course,
everywhere.
exactly. So you end up saying, my friend, don't go in this way because I know what you're trying to do and I know what I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
I know this is wrong. So that load of experience was and is really useful till today's day. And so going back to my path, because of my origin and because of the situation in South America, lack of quality of life, poor salaries, poor work conditions, I decided to go back to my origins and went back to Spain in 2003. I was already an engineer, graduated engineer. I was finishing my first master in environmental science. That was a decision that I've taken because on that time was pretty much the starting moment of everybody being concerned with the environment. So global warming, South America destroying the Amazon forest, etc., etc. I said, oh, maybe that is a field that needs to be explored. So I decided to go on that path. So I went back to Spain, and that was a very interesting moment because Spain and Portugal will experience a massive investment from the EU.
Mm.
And the transformation that those two countries suffered on that time was massive. So I started working over there with something that I'm passionate with, the steel structure. And I had the opportunity to work in Portugal, all around Spain, Rotterdam. I had the opportunity to run a biodiesel plant for Shell,
Mm.
and it was a major project. So I really liked, and during that period, Spain mainly was facing a huge manpower issue,
Mm.
huge.
Like
The salaries
shortage? Yeah.
shortage. So the salaries were very interesting, considering that was Europe,
Mm.
and there was a massive turnover, people jumping from here there looking always for better salaries and better conditions. I'm a very easy person and a very easy manager in terms of giving my team wings to fly. So I don't micromanage. I prefer people to do what they have to do, and when they need me, they come to me. So that allows me to have very good sympathizers. And on that time, because I was running projects pretty much in every single province in Spain, I met a lot of people. And in 2006, I said, I'm going to open my own company because I was running major projects as a general manager for a steel structure company that today is in well, they went in bankruptcy in 2010. And as a manager, I was facing problems to find manpower. So I said, I'm gonna
Talented ones, I guess.
ta-
Like the right
talented,
ones.
but
Yeah.
frankly speaking, on that time in Spain and Portugal, all the talents were there.
Yeah.
Not like today, they vanished. But anyway, so, and I start thinking, okay, what if I open my own company, manpower company, and I provide manpower to the company that I work for. So discussing with the owner of my company, which was called Cometal on that time, he said, "Well, don't you think that is anti-ethical?" I said,
No.
"Yes, if I take advantage, but in a moment of shortage, we set terms, we set prices, and we set numbers, and why not?" And he said, "Well, we can try." And that worked so well that Cometal was working for the major contractors in Spain, so ACS, Acciona, FCC, and the fact that I was managing multiple projects for these guys and for the government opened some doors for me to run my own business alongside with these guys. So
Mm.
after 2 years that we've been running the project simultaneously and in coordination with the Cometal owners, I said, "See, guys, I think it's time for me to fly my own flights on my own wings. I appreciate we, of course, it was a difficult moment because we were running major projects, and I think I was doing a good job. So I start getting my own projects. So that went so well that by 2007, I had 160 employees. I had my own warehouse with brand new welding machines, cutting machine, plasma machines, and things started really going well to the point that I had 18 contracts with the government.
Were you married back
All
then, or was it before
I
marriage? Because
was
I know you're
married.
married. Yeah.
I got married in 2004. So things
Early.
were really good.
Yeah.
Was was I doing a good job as a businessman?
You were learning
Probably.
probably.
I was learning, but probably that was part of the luck I had to get that period of huge investment on the EU.
Beginners.
So that was not only about talent, but also living the moment.
Yeah.
And the proof of that is that in 2008, Lehman Brothers broke, but 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 the socialists in Spain, they said, "Don't worry, we are not going to get in recession. We are a growing a country, and our economy is solid." So the government kept injecting money and funds to the big infrastructure projects. High speed train rail network was like massive, and the investment in culture, museums, retrofits, etc., was really substantial up to 2010. In April 2010, the government raised their hands and said, "We are in recession," and all
Yeah.
my 19 contracts were cancelled. Only two of those really finished, and of course, I didn't resist. Between debts, salaries, end of service, gratuity, I didn't resist. So I had to close the doors, and Europe was broke. There was
Yeah.
no job, no way. I was constructing my own personal life on that time. I had a wife. I didn't have kids on that time yet. So pack the bags, go back to Brazil. So that was the only place in the world that I could return to, and had a chance to keep the bills paid, keep the family happy,
It's cheaper
and
as well, probably. Like,
cheaper.
yeah.
But but between my wife and I, we had a deal. My wife said, "I will stay in Spain, and you send the money home."
Okay.
But I went to Brazil, and in 2 days I got a job.
Yeah.
My father's business was not going very well, so I really said, I cannot work here. You cannot pay me well, so, and I need a good salary. So I found a job in 2 days. I started working, and everything was going well from the first 2 years, but I was not happy.
Mm.
That was something that I just did because I didn't have option. I was not happy to come back to South America. The violence was picking up in 2013. My wife was pregnant of 6 months, and I had a very bad and sad episode when someone tried to steal me money. I went to the bank, but the real story is I went to the bank to withdraw some money to pay some employees that were getting paid by cash. And it's normal practice in South America, not only in Brazil, that when someone go inside the bank and withdraw some money, the security guards call the stealers outside and tell, see, a guy
Mm.
dressing like this got such an amount of money.
Mm.
So then they follow the person by walking or in a motorbike if they are driving a car, which was my case. So I drove a car. I stopped by a painting shop that I had to buy some paint, and two guys in a motorbike drop off the bike, put the gun on my head, and for anyone that is watching this, I really advise don't do what I did, because the guy put the gun in my front head and said, "Give me the money," and my reaction was saying, "Which
No.
money we're talking about?"
Oh, but
And
he
the
knew
guy,
already.
they
Yeah.
knew. So the guy was super violent, super violent, and uh, when where I parked my car, beside my car there was a pickup truck,
Mm.
and both of them were with me, one with the gun on my forehead, and the guy shouting very bad wording, but pretty much saying, "I'm going to kill you if you don't give me the money." And I had a brilliant idea to say, "The money's in the trunk of the car." So both of them went to the trunk of my car, and that gave me time to remove the money, 5,000 Brazilian reals, from my pocket and put on the pickup uh, uh, trunk, so
Front.
behind it. So
Yeah.
I took the money, put inside, and the guys couldn't find the money on the trunk. They were super violent. They hit me with the bottom of the gun on my head. I was bleeding like there
Oh
was
my
no
God.
tomorrow. And
Yeah.
because in front of the painting shop there was a pedestrian bridge, and it was packed with people watching the episode. So
And nobody.
one of the guys said, "Let's go," because they would call the police.
Uh,
And one of the guys was super violent, so he said, "Lay down on the floor." And when I lay down on the floor, he put the gun on my here, and I can
mm,
remember, and he put the trigger 3 times, but the gun failed.
yeah. But
So
you strike me as somebody who's adventurous. You're not afraid of taking risk. Uh, but yeah, I don't
that
know.
that was the
Yeah.
wrong thing, because the gun failed, but the gun could have worked.
Yeah.
And my wife was pregnant, 6 months pregnancy, and she knew I was traveling to another city to one of the projects that I was running for Caterpillar. And I just called her and I said, "See, I'm coming back home. Something
Mm.
happened with me, but I don't want you to get scared when I arrive." And of course, when I said that, she said, "Well, what happened? What happened? What
So you had
happened?"
to tell her.
And then I said, "See, something happened. I had this intent of robbery, but I'm coming home to change my clothes." And when I arrived, I was dressing like a white shirt, and it was
Soaked.
red hot, soaked
Yeah.
in blood.
Yeah.
And to the point that instead of me going to the hospital to stitch my head, she had to go to
Yeah.
the hospital. She was feeling bad because of the baby.
Yeah.
So on that moment,
Um, William, I have a question about it just also it strikes me right now. You're most of the Spanish people I know. I don't know about Portugal, but most of the people who, or even South American, you don't speak as well English as you do. Did you go to an
right?
English school, or how did you learn your English? Just traveling?
No, no. I confess that I really love languages. Yeah,
Yeah.
I speak Portuguese because I've lived in Brazil many years. I speak Spanish because of my mother. I speak little Italian because there is something behind this. Because my father, he had like hard feelings about Europe because of
Mm,
the Second World War, and because
yeah.
my grandfather was a very successful entrepreneur, and things went tit off because of the war, and he was like, why? Because of that war, my father lost almost his business and etc. And I had to move from my country. So my father, in 40 years, he never came back to Europe. So
Oh,
just to give you an idea. So
yeah.
so my father said that. you are in Brazil. I don't want to see any of you, my brothers and I, speaking either Italian or Spanish. You have to speak Portuguese. And the
Yeah.
Spanish that I speak today is because of my mother. While my father was working, we were speaking
Yeah, yeah,
Spanish.
behind his back. Yeah, yeah.
So I speak
Yeah.
Italian
Mhm.
and French, and I'm learning Arabic right now. So,
Yeah, it's
but
amazing. But so let's go back to your story. So you were saying you got attacked. You went back to Brazil.
yeah.
You got a job for a couple of years, but then what happened after that?
So after this episode, I said to myself, and I agree with my wife, let's leave this country. It is not a good country for us to leave and raise our child.
Are you talking about Spain or Brazil?
Brazil, Brazil,
Brazil.
Brazil,
Yes.
Brazil.
Yeah. Okay.
And on that time, I was working for an American company called Shaw Group, which
Mhm.
later became CB&I, Chicago Bridge and Iron. And I called Scott in US. He was my line manager, and today we became good friends. And I said, Scott, it just happened with me, and I don't want to stay in Brazil.
Mm.
On that time, I was running a PMCM consultancy for Schlumberger, an oil and gas company,
Mhm.
and they had a massive acquiring companies, oil and gas company initiative. So they acquired Emaswaco. They almost acquired Baker and Hughes. They were acquiring many companies. The problem is that the companies that they were acquiring in South America, they had very obsolete facilities.
Mm.
So they hire in US, Schlumberger hire Shaw Group in South America to run the PMCM for all the facilities they had in South America. So Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, and Argentina. So I was running South America all around. So pretty much every week or every 2 weeks, I was in different country.
Ah.
But that was super stressful because of the airport life, because that's the hours I was spending in the planes, mainly when I had to go from Rio de Janeiro to Colombia, which had to cross all Brazil from south north, and it was super time consuming and stressful. So, and on the top of that, I had that episode. So I said to my boss, Scott, see, this happened. I decided that I don't want to stay in Brazil. He said, William, but I cannot bring you to US. I said,
Mm.
I don't want to go to US. And he said, right, but I don't have anything in Europe as well. And I said, I don't want to go back to Europe. And he said, so what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want? I said, I want China or Middle East.
Oh,
And he
that
said,
was in 2014, right?
that was
Or
2013.
13. Okay. Yeah.
13. And he
Mm.
said, are you crazy? I said, no. And there is a reason behind that. And then
Yeah.
it's a very
Why?
quick story.
Yes.
When I was eight years old, in Brazil, they had a weekly like show that was only on Sunday, and they started doing a sequence of programs. So every Sunday they would show different countries that were experienced a very huge development. So the first program was about Dubai, and the
Mm.
second program about Shanghai. And I remember like it was yesterday. I was 8 years old, and I said one day I'm gonna work in China or Dubai.
But wait a second. Dubai back then, I mean, when we were kids, it wasn't the Dubai that we know today. So it was
Yeah,
probably like just sand. And
yeah.
like what
But they
what
were,
what caught your
but they were,
attention back then?
but because they were showing some high-rise buildings that were under construction on that time on the
Okay.
Sheikh Said Road,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where they starting with
Getting.
the Emirates Towers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I got that called my attention, and I said one day, and I told that to Scott, and he said, "Is this what you want?" I said, "Yes." So I started working on that. But that took a while, and I was not keen to wait. So I resigned from CBNI and I started looking around. So I didn't come back to Spain on that time, but I was still in Brazil. And I had before I came to Saudi, I had an opportunity to run a decommissioning uh, uh, oil and gas facility for Shell in Angola. So I
Hmm.
went to Angola,
Speak Portuguese.
and that was personal life, huge experience, because it was, although I saw in Brazil, you see a lot of poverty. In South America in general, you see a lot of poverty. That is beyond poverty. This is a humanitarian problem. Yeah. But I had that experience for almost 3 months, 4 months. And one day Scott called me and he said, "Where are you? I tried to call your Brazilian phone, and I saw on LinkedIn that you had this phone. Are you in Africa?" I said, "Yes." He said, you're crazy. So you were complaining about the safety in Brazil and you go to Angola.
Yeah.
I said, "Man, I needed to leave Brazil. I didn't want to stay over there." And he said, "Okay, so someone from Faithful and Gold." I said, "Why Faithful and Gold?" I never heard about Faithful and Gold, by the way. And he said, "Because I left CBNI and I joined Faithful and Good. I'm running some airport projects in Denver now, and but someone from Faithful and Good will call you for a position in the Middle East." I said, "Okay." So I turned off the phone from Scott, and 2 minutes literally after, I got a call from a guy called Darren, and he said, "William, yes." I said, "See, I have an opportunity here in Saudi Arabia. Are you interested?" I said, "Yes." He said, "When you can start?" And I said,
Was that
"Well,
like, when was that? That was before the whole
that
vision
was
thing, right? That was
that,
before opening up.
the Vision 2030.
No, yeah, no,
That,
yeah, exactly. That was before Saudi started opening up, right? Like
that was
2014
2000.
or?
That was July 2013.
Oh my God, yeah.
So I said, "I can join in 2 weeks." He said, "Okay, so I'm gonna ask the HR to call you and make the arrangements for your visa, etc." I said, "Okay."
Did
So
you know anything back then about what Saudi Arabia was or what?
no,
Nothing,
well,
right? Like,
I always loved history and geography.
okay, so you
So I
knew where it
knew
was.
exactly where Saudi Arabia was. I
Mm.
knew it was a Muslim country. I knew it was the where the Islam was born. I
Mhm.
knew, but I
Okay.
didn't know many things that I know today. And I didn't know where they would take me to. I didn't know which project they would take me to. I didn't know where I would work.
But you said yes.
I said yes. Darren Bellew was like super direct, super straight. "You want to work? You want to come? Okay, that's it. This is what I
Yeah.
want to know." I think Scott, of course, gave me a good references about myself, so he
Yeah.
didn't need to know about me. In fact, he had my CV, probably because Scott sent my CV, and that was the way. So in 2 weeks' time, there is a funny story. I was, because in Angola, the currency is the kwanza. And of course, when there is a huge hyperinflation in Angola up to now, so
Mm.
the salaries are counted in billions.
Billions.
So my salary was like $8,000 or something like that, but they
Yeah.
were paying me in kwanza, and to take money from Angola to Europe or anywhere in the world,
Trillions.
you couldn't use a bank, you
Mm.
couldn't use
Okay.
anyone, but you had to use an agent that was taking part of your salary just to send
Yeah.
money out of Angola. But I knew I was going out of Angola. So I got the money, put on my pocket, and left. The day I was leaving the country, when you pass immigration, they literally check on your body. And the guy checked my pocket and he saw a volume on my pocket. And he said, "What is this?"
Smuggler.
I said, "It's money." And he said, "Go to this room." So they put me in a room with three huge guys. I'm 184, and the guys were like 10 centimeters more higher than me or taller than me. And I was, Jesus Christ, where is my mistake? So they asked me to open my bags. They asked me to remove my trousers. And one guy came and said, "Is this your first time in Angola?" I said, "Yes." "You don't know that you cannot take money off the country?" I said, "No, I thought it was like same
So
as any
high.
country, $10,000.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, you cannot take 1 cent from Angola. So I'm gonna allow you to go, but your money stay. And the day
Oh
you come
no.
back to Angola, you can recover your money."
Yeah,
So
one
they
day.
gave like a sort of receipt,
Yeah.
and I left my entire salary back in Angola, and I flown to London. They processed my visa, and I came to Saudi, and I arrived in Dammam. That was August 2013, and that was like first time I step in the Middle East. First time that I step in Saudi Arabia, when Saudi Arabia was still very conservative.
Very hot too in August.
So
Like
funny
50 degrees
story,
probably.
funny story. I think I got here when it was the second Eid.
Okay.
So
Big.
I was in the Ramada Hotel that doesn't exist anymore in Hobart. It's in another place, and it's very close to Rashid Mall.
Mm.
And I woke up one day in the hotel, and the breakfast was like not the normal breakfast. It's a Saudi breakfast, and I said,
Huge.
where is the cafe latte, the croissant, and the things like
Tostadas
that?
with
So
olive oil.
I said, I don't want to have this breakfast. I go to the shopping mall. And my intention was to go to Carrefour because there's a massive Carrefour on that shopping. And I'm going to buy something that I like eating. So I walked, and it's like a distance of 800 meters. So I remember that I had sneakers that I used to love, Adidas sneakers. And I went to the mall. It was like 10 a.m. And when I returned from the mall, it was like 1 p.m. because I also walked on the mall. And it was so hot that my shoes melted on the asphalt, and I lost the sneakers that I loved so much.
Wow.
And I told my
Wow.
wife, and I said, see what happened. Literally, my shoes melted. Well, then was the time that my life started in Saudi, and what a pleasant surprise. Frankly speaking, it was a real big surprise in all aspects. Frankly speaking, people, food, the culture,
Mm.
how safe is the country, how kind people is, how brilliant the government is in terms of the strategy. And in that time, it was not MBS, it was not King Salman, it was super conservative, but the country was growing, the country was full of projects.
Even back then.
And even
Even
back
back
then,
then. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
back then, even back then. And because of my experience with Schlumberger, I finally found out that I was going to run pretty much the same thing that I was running in South America, but instead of Schlumberger, for Halliburton. So my English was satisfactory. It was not like today. And I started working with Halliburton, and the project manager responsible for Halliburton was an Egyptian. And I'm sorry to say, I love the Egyptian. One of my best friends today is Hatem El Badri, and I love this guy with passion. When we call each other brother with the real meaning of a brother, but this guy was a bastard. I'm sorry to say that. So because of my English, he started complaining to my boss. This guy doesn't speak English. He doesn't understand me,
He's
and
just
he
jealous of you, I guess. That's
probably,
jealousy. Yeah.
probably. So he was an Egyptian with a very strong Egyptian accent when speaking English. And when I worked with English speakers, people,
They understood you.
I worked with American, I worked with English, but I never worked with Egyptians, Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis. So for me, that new accent was completely new to me.
It's hard to understand.
And the thing is, my boss, Spencer Wiley, an Irish guy, super strong guy, he said to our client, you approved his CV, you're going to work with this guy. He defended me and he said, you approved his CV. So what are you saying about him? So after a few weeks, he still complained about me, my performance, my English. So Spencer said, I'm going to bring another guy. So he brought what's today my best friend, Graham Bell. Graham was an angel in my life. We knew each other. We shook hands, and it's like love at first sight. Like real friends. He's
Romance.
20 years older than me. a very strong, fat English guy, strong character, super honest guy. And one day, it was December 2014, the oil market began a crisis, and all the oil companies start stopping what they were doing, and that includes Halliburton. Some all the projects that they were doing, they said, finish, stop. We stop investing this kind of initiatives. So FNG didn't have any other project in the Eastern Province, so they got a massive healthcare project in Riyadh. So Spencer said to me and Graham, you have to go to Riyadh. And I said, wow, I don't know Riyadh.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I like Eastern Province. We were 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers from Bahrain, and it was super nice.
Yeah.
So we came to Riyadh, and big city, traffic, noisy, dusty, super hot. But let's face the challenge. And we came to what I call a high luxury healthcare project, and called Al Dara Hospital. And that was an American Lebanese entrepreneur, investor, that invested almost $1.5 billion in this massive hospital. It's a 500 unit hospital with all kind of brand new equipment, super ambitious project, frankly speaking. And the contractor was Carillion Alpha. And that was very nice, a very nice project. And Graham and I decided to live together, to share an apartment. And it was a lovely experience. That was when my English improved. That was when my self-confidence gained another level, went to another level. And where all my ambitions came to the surface of my skin, and I said, I need to fly higher. I need to take advantage of what these countries experience and making people experience. So,
Yeah.
interesting thing, one of the partners of this Lebanese American investor was Prince Faisal, one of the highest
Very famous.
royal family members, and a gentleman like no other, super educated, super. He was a kind of influencer to me, and we always had good relation. To the point that one day he came to me and Graham and said, "Guys, see, where the hospital was built used to be his palace. So he conceded the land to the investor as part of the investment, demolished his palace, and he started constructing a new palace just almost attached to the king's palace."
Oh my God.
So he said, I'm facing some issues on my new house, and the contractors are not capable to resolve. Would you mind casting an eye on my problems? So I have filtration, bad smell, the air condition is not working. Graham is a MEP engineer. I'm a civil engineer. So we put together our experience and went over there. So needless to say that after this day, we kept going to his house every Friday and Saturday for the next 18 months.
Eating kapsa?
Ooh, kapsa,
Everything. Yeah.
mandi, all kind of good food. But the palace was amazing. His house was absolutely fantastic. One day, Prince Faisal come to me and Graham and said, "Guys, you're doing a fantastic job, not only in the hospital, but in my house. Why don't you open your own business? I sponsor you. And
Oh wow.
I have many family members and friends that are building palaces, and you can run as a consultant." Graham on that time just became 62. And he said,
Yeah.
"Prince Faisal, I'm 62. I'm not open for these adventures." And I said, "Graham, please, let's do it." We didn't do it.
Yeah, of course.
We didn't do it.
Ah,
We didn't do it. And
what you're gonna do?
frankly, I don't regret, because I would tell you, my wife, when we went in bankruptcy in Spain, she said, "If you open a company again, I would divorce you." So I was afraid on
Oh
that
yeah.
time. Anyway,
Uh,
we finished we finished Al Dara Hospital because Carillion went in bankruptcy. I finished. Graham stayed over there, and we spent months super idle. I didn't find motivation, and I'm super active person. And the metro in Riyadh was the super project. On that time,
Of course.
MBS was already
Yeah.
in the government. Vision 2030 was announced, and Riyadh was a construction site all around. So I had an opportunity to join Salini in Pregillo as a project director for the Line 3 of the metro. So I had major challenges over there. Mainly a big station which is called 3J1, which is it's a station with where three lines cross each other, and it was a super challenge. And I stayed there pretty much 1 year, and then after these 12 months, a legal dispute between the contractors and the government started. All the project stopped, was put on hold, and on that time, I had an opportunity to join Parsons in Qiddiya.
Oh
So I
wow.
went.
Okay.
So I went in what I call the most toughest interview process I had in my life. So I met a guy called Thomas Shumlich, a Canadian guy, super good professional, super good person. I really appraise him, and it was a pleasure to have the opportunity to meet him. But he had a boss, which his name was Corey Conway, and these guys squeezed me like an orange, the last orange of the bottle of the juice.
They wanted to have the
And
best, I think, the best professionals for Qiddiya. They're
man,
famous for that.
but
They were
but but
very
that was
picky.
tough.
Yeah.
I had like 5 sessions with both, and another 2 or 3 only with Corey, to the
Yeah.
point that the last meeting I said, guys, see, you hire me or not, but I cannot continue coming for interviews like that. You're repeating the same questions, etc., etc. So when I said
Like
that,
joining the CIA
two,
or something,
two, two
like what the
hours
heck?
2 hours later, I received a job offer from Parsons to join Qiddiya. And that was nice.
Yeah.
So I got the offer. I resigned from Salini, and I had 2 months' notice. At the end of the first month of my notice, I got a call from a guy called Jonathan, which was a recruiter from Parsons. And he said, "We have to withdraw your offer." I said, "Man, do you know the
What the
consequences
heck?
what you're
Yeah.
saying? I resigned already. I'm leaving Salini, and
Yeah.
I have a family to feed." So that was shocking. And he said, "William, I cannot do too much." I said, "Is that a Corey decision?" He said, "Yeah, talk to him." He didn't say yes or no. He said, "Talk to him." I grabbed my car. I immediately went to Corey's office and I said, "Corey, what is this? What's going on?" And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You withdraw the offer." He said, like, "You're talking about this." I said, "Oh man, don't
It's
play
playing
with me."
dumb. Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh, it's because the client wants white heads here." I said, "Your client never interviewed me. He doesn't know me. Put me in front of him and I do an interview." No, I said, "Corey, I will not accept this. You playing with my wife, well, but with my life." And well,
But what does he
after
mean by
the
white heads? Like white
uh,
British, you mean?
senior people,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
I don't
more
look like the
senior.
age I have. I'm 50, and
Yeah.
nobody believes me.
No, yeah, you look younger. I told you yeah, for recording. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, uh, I convinced him, but he was super aggressive. He said, "I give you 1 month to prove yourself." I said, "More than enough, more than enough." And he kept the offer open, but Jonathan never was told that the offer was kept open. And on the meantime, that remaining 30 days of my notice, he called me and he offered another position in Jazan to work with Royal Commission. And he said, you're still open to work with us?" I said, "Yes." I never told him that my offer was still open in Qiddiya.
Yeah.
And he said, "Okay, so would you mind going for an interview in Yambu with Royal Commission?" I said, at all. So on the next very day, he booked my ticket. I flew from Riyadh to Yambu. I had an interview with Royal Commission. They approved me on the spot. And on the next day, I had an offer from Parsons to work with Royal Commission in Jazan. The offer was pretty much the same as I got on Kidia, but I kept quiet. So on the last day of my notice, by the way, I never signed the offer to work with Jazan. I kept the offer in my pocket.
Just in case.
Because I said, Corey will make something again.
Yeah,
I had that feeling. So on the last day of my notice, I called Corey and I said, Corey, what should I do tomorrow? Should I go to your office or you want me to go to Parsons' office for documentation, induction? He said, I call you back in a few minutes. Okay, so it took an hour. He called me back and, William, do you have another offer with Parsons? I said, I do. And he said, and you don't tell me. I said, see, Corey, if you don't have an efficient internal communication, who am I to tell you that I have another offer? So he said, okay, so you take that offer or leave it because here you're not working.
Oh,
really? I'm not joking. So I said,
that's
okay.
ridiculous.
So I turned the phone off. I signed the offer and I went to Jazan. I don't regret 1 second. I was afraid because that was 2017. And it was the peak of the war with the Houthis. And
Yeah,
I
I
was
remember.
really afraid. I was really, really, really afraid. But I said, I go. So I went over there, and that was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Wonderful experience.
Your life sounds like a movie, by the way. Like we could make a movie about
yeah. So
William the Adventurer.
I spent 6 months in Yambu because Royal Commission didn't have a facility to get us on. The project in Jazan was initiated by Saudi Aramco and Saudi Bin Laden in 2013. They designed a master plan because Aramco had a plan to build the fourth biggest downstream refinery in the world in that area.
Wow.
So they had a master plan, major master plan. And back in 2015, when MBS took the power, he found out a major corruption scandal. I think you will remember when a lot of ministers and important
many like
were arrested, but
yeah.
The prison was the Ritz Carlton.
Yeah, I remember. It's like almost everybody like running the major projects was arrested. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
the CAFT, the King of Abdullah Financial District, stopped. That project stopped. All projects where Saudi Bin Laden was involved, it stopped. So when Jazan's that time Jazan's project was called Jazan Economic City, there was a royal decree from MBS to hand over from the joint venture between Aramco and Saudi Bin Laden to Royal Commission for Yambo and Jubail. So that project was handed over. Royal Commission decided to remaster plan and change the concept and the initiative of the city. So they changed from a Jazan economic city to Jazan city for primary and downstream industries. So I spent 6 months in Yambu learning about the complexity of that project and moreover, the complexity of the structure of Royal Commission. Royal Commission is a 50 years old company, public company that has the objective since day one to develop industrial cities. So I had to learn everything, the procedures, the guidelines, everything. And after 6 months, we got an instruction from Royal Commission CEOs to move to Jazan. And that was a beautiful story because Jazan is different. Jazan is not like Riyadh, it's not like Jeddah, it's not like Eastern Province. Jazan is wonderful. It's green. The weather is constantly the same temperature all throughout the year. During summertime, sandstorm every day after 11 o'clock up to 3 o'clock, religiously, every day during summertime. And I had beautiful experiences over there. The people from Royal Commission. I have excellent friends up to today. from Royal Commission, from Parsons. It was a wonderful experience. And it was a multi-billion project program that I had to run, and all sort of facilities, real estate, retail, major infrastructure, wet and wild, wet and dry networks. It was amazing. And a part of that, we still had interaction with Saudi Aramco because of the
Yeah.
refinery. So all sort of challenges. And I stayed there almost 6 years until the day that I said, I either pursue my dreams or I'm gonna die here.
You never
And
forgot.
die,
You never forget about your dreams. That's good.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So and die in all aspects, because first, Royal Commission, like any other public institution, works on the pace of a public institution.
Mm.
Second thing is, we were in Jazan. It's a very hidden corner of Saudi Arabia. So all the new technologies, the innovations, everything was at least 2 years behind Riyadh, behind Jeddah, behind other areas of Saudi. So I saw myself struggling really to come back to a normal world if I had to move from Jazan. So in 2022, July 2022, WSP approached me for uh, a program director for the King Salman Park. So we went through a sequence of interviews with WSP people, with FNG, because FNG was the PMO, and finally with the client. So I had seven or eight interviews with different people. All of those were super nice. That was a very pleasant process, because it was not like a kind of interview. It was like an experience exchange process. They approved me. They extended me a job offer, very interesting job offer. And in August, end of August that year, my sister announced to the family that she got pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
And that was a super violent cancer, to the point that when I almost finished my notice period with Parsons, I withdraw my resignation. I communicated WSP that I would not join them, because my sister was sick and I would have to help her, and all aspects, even financially. And I didn't want to join WSP and face that family problems and eventually not being able to support my sister.
Mm.
WSP went really, really pissed off, because everybody was
Yeah.
expecting me
You
to start
left them hanging.
immediately.
Uh,
And then in December, I excused from Royal Commission. I asked permission to go to Brazil. My sister and my brother always lived in Brazil. My brother today lives in Spain, but my sister was in Brazil, and I went to Brazil with my wife and my daughter, and that was the best decision I did, because on the 2nd of January in 2023 she passed away.
mm.
And then I came back to Jazan, and because I posted on LinkedIn something related to my sister and how good was to come back to Saudi, and Rob Kettlety from WSP spotted out, and he was the first person that contacted me for a position in the King Salman Park. And he contacted me and he said, "Hey, buddy, how are you? Welcome back. I'm feel sorry for your sister. Are you keen to talk again to come for a new
Come
position?" I
back.
said, "Yes, let's talk now." And he offered me a program director position on Wadi Safar, which is one of the programs of the year.
Mm.
And I joined them. I came to Riyadh, then that was wonderful as well. WSP is a sensational company to work for. The people that works over there are fantastic, super professional. I really enjoyed, and we worked pretty much 2 years, and they were this far. Budget finished. The client didn't renew with WSP, and we saw ourselves again like idle, not being useful. And I had an opportunity to come and work with KBR on the same project, but not in Wadi Safa, but the Ria Gate 2, and where we are finishing also now in December our contract, and then I'm gonna become a free agent. which won't be a bad idea, consider the project that I'm running in parallel, and which are wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
well, yeah, exactly. So now you've been working for some of the biggest companies, infrastructure companies in the kingdom. It's very interesting, and somehow, but you still have this entrepreneur genes, and you feel like you want to start something on your own. You told me about
Yeah.
the idea. I'd love you to maybe to present it, how you got inspired, why it matters, and how are you able to take it from paper to reality?
Right. So um, that is a romantic story, by the way.
Okay, we like romantic stories.
I have a fantastic relationship with my team members. Yeah.
Yeah.
I create real bond between each one of them. I used to know pretty much details of people's life, and I treat them equally, irrespective the hierarchy and irrespective the positions, because I believe the hierarchy is just a necessity of any a company, any institution, any enterprise. But when it comes to treating people, as I said, I let people fly, I let people assume responsibility, assume liability, and when they need me, they're going to count on me. I love mentoring also. So one of the aspect that I really developed very well in Jazan was the mentorship, because the Royal Commission team over there was very young, very, very young. So we are talking about directors with 29, 30 years of experience, 30 years old, and very few experiences. So
Mm.
they needed to count with our experience to guide them, to drive them, to take them to the right path. And um, and that gave me a lot of experience, frankly speaking, because in my own country I never had that opportunity to work with young fellows and the people that really needed mentorship, maybe because of the culture, maybe because of the habits, or maybe because of the pace of the projects that are totally different from Saudi Arabia. We never had really time to mentor people. So one of the Saudi employees that I had in the Wadi Safar program, where I was in WSP, his name is Khaled. Uh, we finished the project, and each one of us will follow our own path. So one day he came and he said, William, I really enjoy working with you. And I enjoyed so much that I always talk about yourself to my father. And my father wants to know you. And he's offering a dinner in our house to you. I said, it's a pleasure. It's an honor, by the way. So we set date, time, and I went over there. Before I continue this story, I will get a hook in 2022 or 2021 when COVID kicked. I was in Jazan. We were living and work in a very remote location because we were not in the Jazan city. We were 120 kilometers north from Jazan city, and that was very remote. And we
Yeah.
were living in a camp. So basically in containers. And because of the curfews, because of COVID severity, etc., we could not leave our cabins. And I'm talking about uh, a 19 foot, a 19-foot
Yeah.
container or something like
Oh my
that.
God. Ah,
Of course,
it's
retrofit
tough.
with a room, toilet, and a living room. And we could not leave our container, not even for eating. The guys were serving our food in our door. We opened the doors and eating.
Like in prison.
So absolutely.
Yeah.
So one day I took the risk and I was walking outside, and I met a Spanish guy that was working for Técnicas Reunidas, which is a Spanish company that was uh, completing the works for the refinery, Aramco's refinery. So he said, Guille, are you taking the flight tomorrow? I said, which flight? I said, are you not aware? I said, aware of what? He said, FCC, which was the main contractor for the metro in Riyadh, uh, uh, chartered 6 flights from Saudi to catch all the Spanish people from Saudi Arabia to Spain for free.
Evacuate them.
I didn't know about it. And I said, why I don't know? He said, are you registered on the Spanish embassy? I said, no. He said, that's why. He said, call this number because the last flight is tomorrow.
Oh, shoot.
And I said, okay. So I called the person. He said, unfortunately, there is
Too
no
late.
seats available. I said, Jesus Christ. Then I said, no, I need to leave. I need to go home. Royal Commission allowed us to work remotely for those that could leave the country, but there was no flight, nothing. So I remember I had a very good friend of mine in Brazil that had a travel agency. And I said, oh, I will talk to Fabio. And I grabbed FaceTime, called Fabio. Hey, brother, how are you? I have a challenge for you. He said, tell me, can you get me out of Saudi Arabia? I said, whoa, Saudi Arabia? I didn't know you were in Saudi Arabia. I said, yes, it's been like 5 years that I'm in Saudi, no more. And he said, okay, let me try. So the guy found a flight from Lufthansa, Riyadh, Frankfurt, and he took me out of Saudi Arabia in the peak of COVID. And I couldn't believe. So when he realized that I was in Saudi, he said, William, can you take my business to Saudi Arabia? I said, do you want? He said, I do want. I said, live with me. And I start trying to contact Minister of Tourism to understand what the process would be to implement the business, blah, blah, blah. But no one responded my emails. No
So
one
hold on a
responded
sec.
my
Just to explain to our audience, his business was a travel agency. Was it like he wanted to open up an agency there? Yeah,
branch in Saudi.
a branch in Saudi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or,
So he already saw the potential of Saudi Arabia back then.
yeah. So, or because he knew I was working for Parsons and he saw who Parsons was, and he said eventually become the travel agents of preference of Saudi of Parsons. But I tried and it never worked. So going back to where I was in November 22. No. It was April 23. I went to Khaled's house to meet his father that was offering a dinner to me. So I was received in his house like the only thing that I missed was the red carpet. Really, it was like a huge experience, so pleasant. It was available there. Khaled and his 4 brothers, plus Mr. Abdullah, which is his father.
The whole family was waiting for you.
Whole family, but the ladies. Then they took me down to the basement. They had a massive room over there, big television. They were waiting me with all sort of snacks, tea, typical Saudi gathering.
Food, yeah, abundance of food.
So on that room, there was a 85-inch screen, probably massive screen, and a couch in new format towards the TV. So I was there talking to Khaled, talking to his brother, older brother, the second brother. I was talking to the brothers. And Abdullah just cheered me, saluted me, shook hands, but he was like timid. He was like not talking too much. So at certain point, I saw myself sitting on the corner of the U-shaped couch. Abdullah was sitting on the other corner, while his sons, cousins, siblings were talking in Arabic among themselves. And I was in that situation like you were in the first time in your girlfriend's house, sitting in front of her father.
Speaking a different language.
and what I'm going to say. And then I said, let me break the ice. I said, Mr. Abdullah, how are you? What do you do for a living? Oh, no, I'm retired. I said, nice. So you having your deserved rest. But what you've been doing? He said, oh, I was once Minister of Tourism.
There you go. Or your friend.
I said, Jesus Christ, this cannot be nothing but God's gift.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sign.
It came to my lap. I'm not Muslim, but I'm very religious. I have
Yeah.
big faith, and there are things that I really put in God's hands. So I told him this story I just told about Fabio, and he said, "William, whatever you want from Minister of Tourism and any
Let me
other
know.
minister, tell me." I said, "Okay, let's talk more about it." And we had we had a dinner, we laughed, we talked, shook hands, masalama. And 2 days after, my phone rings. I don't recognize the number. "Hello, William." I said, "Who is this?" I said, "Abdullah." And I said, "Which Abdullah?" I said, "Khalid's father." "Oh, Mr. Abdullah, blah, 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 blah. Can you come to my house today?" I said, "Of course, of course, yeah." So
He didn't
after I,
tell you why, of course.
no, I said, he said, "I
Mysterious.
need to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." So I left office and went to his house, and it was him and I only. And we sat in not on the same basement, but we sat upstairs in the male's room. And I said, "William, you know why I brought you here?" I said, "No." And why? He said, "I want to build a hotel." I said, "Right. Where? In Nasir or Riyadh?" Because they are from Abha. And I knew that. And he said, "In Riyadh." I said, "Nice. Downtown or outside Riyadh?" He said, "Outside." Immediately, I said, "Have you thought to build something on the edge of the world?" And he said, "Wonderful idea." And he said, "Can you develop something? Can we work on this?" I said, "Leave with me and I will activate all my contacts."
Mhm.
And one of my best friends is an architect, and he is brilliant. He's not famous, but he is brilliant. And I called him and I said, "Renato, uh, opportunity of our life, and you will have to overcome by thousands of times your best design by designing a resort in this place." I went to the map, I point out, and he said, "Okay." So we started working on that. Initially, it was meant to be a hotel, but thinking on Red Sea, Neom, Qiddiya, Diriyah, Roshan, and all the ambitious projects that the kingdom is building, I said, it's not going to work if it is just one more hotel.
It's exactly. It's just too small for their massive development
It
projects.
has to be the reference of the resort at the global level,
That should be the resort, right?
the resort.
The resort. Yes.
And then he said, "But what do you mean?" He said, "It has to be a 6 stars resort."
Yeah.
Yeah. And it we have to take advantage of all the events that Saudi Arabia will have after 2030 and take advantage of the Vision 2030 event. And based on the Vision 2030, one of the primary um, initiatives is the quality of life. So we have to prepare something that will provide the guests an excellent example of quality of life, including sustainability, environmental protection, and integrity or integration of the facilities of the resort itself to the environment. I said, okay. So he started working on a concept while myself and a few other people started working on the business plan itself. So researching and searching about the tendency that the market has about, on regards to the resorts and hospitality, we found out that there is a trend right now related to the medical tourism.
Mm.
So it's becoming very very normal to see some resorts, some hotels to accommodate people that needs medical treatment,
Yeah.
mainly the
From all
high
across the
wealth,
kingdom.
not only in the kingdom, but
Yeah, and the
elsewhere in
region.
the world.
Yeah.
So, of course, this is for very high wealth net worth people, but they are preferring to be treated in facilities like a resort and a hotel rather than in a hospital.
Yeah.
So I put that on our list of priorities. Then another thing is how the kingdom is supporting sports. I gym every day. I always like sports. I love sports, and
Can
I
see
used
that.
I used to go every day to gym, and I can see how the people are taking this seriously.
Yeah,
Not only
exactly.
the young guys like my
Yeah.
age, even older, you can see
Everybody.
normally on the gym.
Men and women, by the way. It's part of the
Exactly,
vision as well. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there is another very interesting point that I will raise shortly about
Yeah.
Minister of Industry, and um, I said sports needs to be in our list.
Yeah.
And finally, uh, it's very common here in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East in general to have spas in every single hotel that you go. You have all sort of
Uh,
spas, major, medium, small, but you have at least a massage room everywhere you go.
yeah.
Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Saudi, Bahrain, everywhere. So I said we have to have a wellness center. So I called Renato and I said, Renato, these are the three pillars of our enterprise, our resort. So he started shaping that out. And he said, what do you believe we should have in this resort? I said, a golf course, of course. Uh,
Tribes.
exactly. And then, and the question center. And this idea came because when I worked in the Wadi Safar project with WSP, they had a equestrian center. They still have an equestrian center by excellence. It's the most luxurious equestrian center I saw in my life. And of course, I don't want to compete with them, but I said we need to have an equestrian center, considering the area where we are going to build the resort.
Yeah.
It's a perfect spot for horse riding.
Or it's part of the culture as well. It's an integral
Uh,
part of the culture. Very
absolutely,
important part of the
absolutely.
culture.
And then I said, what if we put a football stadium in the resort?
Yeah.
And he said, with what's the purpose? I said, exhibition games, drills for the Saudi team by the time the World Cup comes. By that time, the Saudi was not confirmed as the hosting the World Cup yet, but we said maybe. Uh, and for small competitions. And he said, so we don't want a full stadium. I said, if we build a full stadium, we're going to lose purpose. So we need
Yeah.
to do something that is going to be useful and can promote uh, any kind of person to utilize the facilities. Because although the resort was meant to be for an ultra luxury destination, uh, we also can promote anyone to use the facilities. And said, okay. And after a few months, 2 or 3 months that we were working on the project, I said to myself, wait a minute. I was jumping between channels and channels on the TV, and Roland Garros was ongoing. And I said,
Tennis.
Saudi Arabia doesn't have a competition for
Yeah,
tennis.
sure.
And I talked to Renato, can we accommodate a tennis arena for any kind of tournament? And he said, yes, of course. We have 9 kilometers square to develop something. So let's
Yeah.
do it. So we start developing. And on the meantime, we were working with a big team on the business plan, financial plan, investment plan, all sort of documents that you can imagine to make the project feasible, the feasibility study. So when we finished, uh, I had a very well designed strategy, and our vision was we need who we are. We need to know who we are. how are we going to sell this project?
Mm.
By the time the project was uh, designed, which was August 23, we needed to present that to Abu Rayyan. Today, he's my friend, he's my partner, and he's an excellent person. And he's no longer Mr. Abdullah, he's Abu Rayyan. So Abu Rayyan was in Abha, spending his summertime over there. And I called him and I said, Abu Rayyan, I have good news for you. He said, what? Renato finished the design.
Yeah.
And he said, really? Can I see it? I said, no, not even myself. I didn't see the design. I didn't see at all.
But I
And
trust him.
I said, can I travel to Abha and we sit down wherever you want to meet with Renato? And he said, yes, come to my house. So my wife was here in Saudi Arabia. So I traveled with my wife and my daughter, and we went to his house, which is pretty much a palace. And he was alone. We went upstairs to a TV room. Like the TV room was three times bigger than my apartment in Riyadh. And we sat over there. And funny story, we started a good relation, but we were not friends like we are today. And and he said, do you mind if I bring a friend of mine that he's an engineer? I said, not at all. So I read that movement.
Mhm.
He said,
Yeah.
I don't know, William. I just heard about him because my son talked me about William. So I need someone to endorse what's going to be presented. So we connected, Teams call. Renato doesn't speak any English. He's Italian. His accent is already difficult to understand. The few words that he say in English are almost nobody can understand. And on the top of that, engineer Mansour, if I'm not is mistaken, I don't remember exactly his name. He got into the call in a very kind of arrogant manner, and he said, "I just have 30 minutes." I said, "That's fine." The meeting took 3 hours, and this guy didn't move.
It
The
was,
pro-
yeah, it
the
was
project
fascinating.
was so amazing
Yeah.
that up to now, I guess I get goosebumps, frankly, because Abu Rayyan was sitting in front of 8,500 inches television. The television is taller than him, and he was out of the sight of the camera, so Renato could not see him. And he was looking at me, and he was doing, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, this is amazing!" So, so we finished the presentation. Renato was speaking Italian and he speaks Spanish as well. So he was talking about the resort and I was translating to these two guys. We finished the meeting and Abu Rayyan asked this engineer, he said, what do you think? He said, I am a contractor. I'm working NEOM. I'm working the Red Sea and I never saw such a thing. So that was a primary design. So I said, Abu Rayyan, we need to know if you approve us to move forward. And he said, approved.
Yeah.
So from that moment, uh, we established AGMS as a business. The business existed before because that was a company that I had with my wife since 2006, but it was related to trading. It was related to marketplace for beauty products, and
Yeah.
we
In
turned
Saudi
the
or was it somewhere
in
else?
Spain. In Spain,
In Spain, yes.
yeah.
So you
So we
just kept the
turned.
name. Yeah, just keep the
We
company.
know we changed the name because the name of the company was called Maki U,
Okay.
which is pretty much related to makeup and beauty products.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine that wanted to trade with Saudi Arabia with seafood, which is another business that we are running right now. Uh, he incorporated himself as a partner. He bought half of the company, and we changed the name to
Yeah.
AGMS. And that formalized the company and formalized the development of this, what we call today the Saudi Edge Resort. So we established the name. The initial name would be the Edge Resort. which after we start the registration of the name, we found out that this name could not be registered because we would have legal problems. Only in Saudi there are two The Edge resorts, and worldwide we have many
Countless.
resorts.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, the name is a characteristic of the resort. It has to be this name because it's placed by hand in literally on the edge of the world. So I said, what if we include the Saudi Edge Resort? And everybody was, oh,
Smart.
that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. So I never thought about this, what I'm going to tell you now, but when we announced the name, the Saudi Edge Resort, in a meeting with one of the investors, it came like a click in my mind, and I said, oops, if this become a worldwide brand, it can be anything. It can be the Australian Edge Resort. It can be the
Exactly.
American Edge Resort.
Yeah.
It can be the
Can
Irish.
franchise it. Yeah.
So that was wonderful. And we registered the brand, we registered the logo, and I started the next step, which was gaining muscles. We
Yeah.
needed muscles. AGMS is nothing. AGMS is a company created to develop the resort, pretty much, although we have other business. One of them is the tourism, which we started the conversation earlier. But I think the cherry of the cake is the Saudi Edge Resort. So Abu Rayyan had to work, and he had to open the doors that he said that he would open. So he opened the door Minister of Tourism, he opened the door Minister of Health, he opened the door Minister of Investment, he opened the door with a person that I ever imagined to shake hands with, which is called Prince Sultan bin Salman, which is the oldest brother of Mohammed bin Salman. So I had the honor to go to places that even in my dreams I could not imagine. And I literally put my eyes in water because in my country, and although I don't know, I'm Spanish, I'm Brazilian, I'm Italian,
My countries. Yeah.
I would not have this experience and opportunity.
Yeah.
So we went to different institutions, governmental institutions, and every single person that we showed this resort was complimentary. Of course, we got comments, productive comments, valid insights, mainly from Prince Sultan. And all of those were incorporated to the concept design. And to gain further muscles, in parallel that we were meeting these institutions, we pretty much approached all the major engineering consultants and contractors in Saudi Arabia. So we are talking about WSP, Parsons, Bechtel, AECOM, Jacobs, all of them. So we sent an invitation letter to be part of the Saudi Edge Resort, which on that time was not yet Saudi Edge Resort, was the Edge Resort only. And surprisingly, this letter was sent in September 2023. And we gave them up to 30th November 2023 to respond. Funny is that by 28th November 2023, I didn't get any response. And from the 28th to the 30th, I got 8 responses. So Parsons, AECOM, WSP, Aegis, PwC, Alter Engineer, Alter International from Turkey, GVF from Qatar, they responded our letter. Not everyone. We approached around 30 companies, and 9 of those responded. So we got 9 of the biggest on board.
That's interested.
Interested. And the only thing we shared with them was a brief about the Edge, a letter, invitation letter, and a form that they had to fill and sign. So no images, no nothing.
Yeah.
So it was a big achievement personally.
But that shows actually the potential of the project, you know, like they understood that you were onto something.
Absolutely. So after getting this uh, muscle, I call muscle because they are a muscle. Né? Um, I said, what is our next step? Go after the investment. How much you are talking about? $2.1 billion. It's super ambitious, super ambitious, super, super, super. And um, one day, I was talking to a friend of mine that knew Renato, the architect, and said that there was a guy willing to invest in Germany on a real estate project, and he was looking for a good architect. And he said, "Do you think I should recommend Renato?" I said, "Absolutely." By the way, did you see what we are trying to do in Saudi? He said, "No," and I showed the project, and he said, "I cannot believe." I said, "Yes, true." And can you can you give me the video that you prepared? Because we prepared two videos, one with 6 minutes and another one shorter. And I call them institutional videos that they are talking about the edge resort. So we invested severely on the marketing strategy to be prepared for these meetings with investors, with the government, with different institutions and other partners. And and he presented the video to the investor, German investor. The investor asked a meeting almost immediately. And Renato and I sat with this guy, and he said, "I want to invest in your resort. I want to invest the 2.1 billion. I need guarantees. I need many things. We need to talk a lot, but I need to do it." And that was a year ago, and and we granted that investment by chance, and it's another God's gift, frankly speaking. So, what would be our next step? The land. We don't have the land.
Yeah.
Who the land belong to? So we start talking to one, two, three, four, five stakeholders. We talked to Prince Sultan, and he said, "I believe this land belongs to Royal Commission for Riyadh City." Other people were saying, "No, that belongs to Daria." And I started putting a lot of effort to find out who the land belonged to. And finally, we found out that the land belongs to Royal Commission for Riyadh City. But the Royal Commission is not the owner of the land. They are the rep,
Manager.
and they are the men of the land that belongs to Tuareg Reserve. So to make things more difficult, it belongs to a natural reserve. So,
Yeah.
but everybody went heads down, and I said, "Why are you hands down?" She said, because it belongs to a reserve and it's very difficult. I said, "Okay, what about Qiddiya?" Qiddiya is the biggest entertainment city in the world and is 10 times bigger than Disneyland. And it's in
It's
the reserve.
heritage. It's in the reserve. Yeah.
It's in the reserve.
Yeah.
But that has MBS fingers. I said, "Of course that has MBS fingers.
I was
But
gonna
if
say,
MBS can do, it's because other people can do."
if there's a
Then,
will, you need a political will, of course. Yeah.
absolutely. So, so basically, we granted the investment. We granted the participation of major engineer consultants. We granted the participation of the government by the
Mm.
ministers that we've met. We we have we have the feasibility study endorsed. What else we need? Let's put hands work and raise our sleeve and start doing things. The thing is, we haven't signed with the investor yet. He's doing a major operation with the banks in Dubai, and that needs to be finished. So he grants the investment. But on the meantime, we haven't finished. We haven't stopped to look for investment. So we had another opportunity to work with a company called DSC International, which is Egyptian, Jordanian. They are also interested in investing. And recently we met a local major real estate investor in the Eastern Province, which we are working on that. I prefer not to mention because it's
Yeah.
confidential. And that is the closest we got to finalize a deal with a local investor. And that will give us the last drop of protein for our muscles to sit down with Royal Commission and request the concession of the land for us to build this resort.
Yeah.
So I believe that the next 2 months, 3 months are crucial for us to get this progressing. The resort promised return of investment close to the 14% almost immediately, because we implemented the branded residency concept. So we are talking about around 505 between rooms and villas that we're going to have in the resort that can be put on the initiative of the branded residency. We have a retail area on the basement of the main building of the resort that can accommodate around 30 retail. And when we're talking about retail, we are talking only about high luxury brands, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Rolex, these guys. And recently we signed a deal with Lamborghini, and they want to sign
Congratulations.
they want to sign, and we're going to sign the contract with them in November, early November, and they want to sign the design of the villas. So it's a major achievement for us, which we are going to announce formally and officially after this contract signature. And that is another drop of protein for the muscles that we need to sit down with Royal Commission and raise our request formally for the concession of the land. There are plan B and C, but the story would become too long if we start exploring these things. So
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
so just a last comment. That's not became my dream, but that is Abu Rayyan's dream that I took as my dream. It went so far and it went too good now that it's basically impossible that we give up. Even if Royal Commission closed the doors, we're going to go in option B and C. And the good news is that this week, Renato got a contract to develop a major master plan of a 4 kilometer square area in the Dominican Republic. And the owner of the land saw the resort and he said, I want this resort to be constructed here. So potentially going to be able to develop 2 resorts in different countries at the same time. So that I couldn't be more blessed. And the people that is working with us is also blessed, because this is very good news. Yeah. And this is about the resort and a little bit about the tourism. We are developing strongly an initiative to bring enhance the tourism in Saudi Arabia. Because of my trajectory in Saudi Arabia, I had the pleasure and the blessing again to see many, many, many places in Saudi. I am a person that loves driving, and I love driving long distances.
Me too.
So I drove from Eastern Province to Riyadh, from Riyadh to Jeddah, Riyadh to Yambu, Jeddah. And when I was living in Jazan, curious fact is, because of the war with Houthis, the Jazan's airport was constantly being interrupted, or the operations of the airport being interrupted because the threats of the drones attacks. So in 2 occasions, I was trying to fly home and my flights were canceled because of these threats. And I said, you know what? I will not fly anymore from Jazan to Jeddah. I will drive. And it's a 800 kilometers journey. And man, I can say with proudly that the only place that I haven't been in Saudi Arabia yet is Tabuk. All the other
So you know
areas,
it.
Qasim,
You
Yambo,
know the country
Yalula,
by heart.
by heart.
Yeah,
And I said, this country worth visiting. It
definitely.
worth. And I encourage every single person that I talk, visit Saudi Arabia. So going back to Fabio's story, I start developing packages along with Fabio and Abu Rayyan, because he's the mastermind of the tourism in Saudi Arabia, to enhance the tourism in Saudi Arabia. So now we have a group of packages for different kind of pockets for people to visit Saudi Arabia. And we are trying to set up deals with major tourism operators at the global level to start bringing tourism to Saudi Arabia. And Saturday, we had an event on the Chinese embassy, and we did very good contacts over there. And I think they would be the first ones to start coming to Saudi.
Yeah. Chinese are interested in that part of the world. They are
Yeah, yeah,
very brave to visit new places.
absolutely. And finally, one comment that I would like to make is the fact that Saudi Arabia is changing radically. Yeah, not only economically, but socially, culturally, habits, and it's a wonderful place, not only for visiting, but for those that have the opportunity and the ambition to live also. And because our business started with trading,
Mm.
and my partner in Spain encouraged me to try to bring Spanish seafood to Saudi Arabia, high quality seafood. We ended up trading not only with seafood, but electronic products, etc. And I had the pleasure and the honor to meet with Minister of Industry, and I was taught that Saudi Arabia is promoting a cultural and dietary complete change in the country.
Yeah.
They want people to start consuming more healthy food and seafood mainly. So I was shocked when I saw the numbers and I saw the initiatives that the Minister of Industry, alongside with the government, is putting forward to change people's habits and culture. And that's why I'm seeing a lot of people in the gym and a lot of elderly people in the gym and exercising. And that is mind blowing because it's a country that never had that culture. So it's a brilliant place. It's wonderful. The people were super nice. In 13 years that I'm working in this country, almost, I never had any problem with any Saudi. And in fact, with no one. And I have the opportunity to work with people from all corners of this globe and with different accents, different habits, different cultures.
It's like a
It's true
melting
that
pot.
it's true that the traffic is crazy.
Yeah, especially
But
Riyadh.
yeah, but for me that loves driving, it's challenging, but it's
Yeah.
funny. I have fun driving in Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
at the end of the day. You have to be careful at the end of the day, but it's funny.
Of course, but William, halfway through Vision 2030, what have been what kind of progress have you seen? Like you've seen it before. Do you think we're going to meet the 2030 goals in terms of infrastructure projects? Because all of them are
Right,
ambitious.
right.
Because I see maybe it might be hard to take all the boxes. But what's
Well,
your opinion as an engineer yourself?
my professional opinion is that super ambitious. The vision is extremely ambitious, and I think the government already realized that it's super ambitious, and they had to replan and revisit some of the projects, such as the line. Uh, but we can see that the government is pushing. They can see that the government is really putting a lot of efforts to conclude uh, the iconic ones. Tria is one of them. You can see it's for those that never been Riyadh. There is a road. Riyadh is a very easy city to drive around because Riyadh, although the shape of the city is irregular, the shape of the roads network is super easy because it's square.
Yeah.
So putting yourself in the city where you see the skyscrapers and you know where the skyscrapers are, you know if you're north, east, west, or south. Yeah. And I tell my wife and my friends these, and they, how come? So this is my sense of geography, and maybe it's different from others, but I consider Riyadh very easy to drive. So when you are in the northern ring, going towards the west area, where Diriyah is, and you reach the point where you're getting into Diriyah. For those that don't know what Diriyah is where Saudi Arabia was born, where King Abdulaziz used to live with his family, and it's the old town. So it's under retrofit. This area is being recovered. It was abandoned for many years, and now it's a massive construction site. I don't remember the figure, but it's around $100 billion investment. Is something mind-blowing.
It's run by Jerry, right?
Jerry Inzerillo, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And many areas are ready already, such as Bujairi, Diriyah Gate 1 is getting ready.
It's beautiful by night. Oh my God.
Wonderful.
Fascinating.
And going back to that area, when you drive through the northern ring going towards Diriyah, and you get into the Diriyah area, it's impossible to count the number of tower cranes that you have over there. And that gives anyone the real impression about what the kingdom is trying to do.
Yeah, shooting for the stars.
Absolutely. And what Prince Mohammed bin Salman is doing is remarkable, because he's not only doing himself the works, but he's encouraging his own people to renew Riyadh. The entire Riyadh is under construction. Yeah. So old buildings that are abandoned or land that are not used, they implemented certain laws or royal decrees that if you are the owner of this land and you're not using, you're going to start paying for having the land unused. Or you start constructing. And if you start constructing, you're going to have advantages. You're going to have subsidiaries and subsides. So this is remarkable. Super smart. Yeah. So in the area that I used to live, which is the Oleia, it's a prime area. And I don't want to pretend that I'm living the best area, because I live in a very tiny apartment. But the entire area is very old. And you can see buildings and palaces being demolished for construction of compounds, new buildings. And this is amazing.
I think this is the only place on earth where we have such massive projects being built. But correct me if I'm wrong. You're the
absolutely
engineer.
Absolutely. Well, I think Dubai
one of the few. Dubai as well.
It's a city that went through this. They're still growing, but not on the pace that they were 5-10 years ago. I think now it's time for Saudi Arabia to experience this. And the thing is, we are just talking about Riyadh. Jeddah is the same thing. They are retrofitting the entire Al Balad, the entire Jeddah old city. Khobar is experiencing a massive growing.
Dammam as well. Yeah.
Jazan, when I arrived in Jazan in 2017, there was one hotel, no shopping malls. Now they have 3 shopping malls, 5 5-star hotels. The city is growing, big compounds, even 7. 7, for those that don't know, is the Saudi entertainment venture, which they are now part of Qiddiya, but they are building theme parks everywhere in Saudi Arabia, even in Jazan. That is 80 kilometers from the Yemen border, and they are growing. So this is remarkable. And I think anywhere in the world, you will see such a thing for years from now.
Exactly.
And going back to your question, there are projects that are too ambitious to be finished in 2030. But some of others, like Qiddiya, Diriyah, the Jeddah Al Balad, the Jeddah Tower, which is the tallest building in the world, probably will be ready by then. the building itself, not the entire master plan, because the master plan of that area is absolutely massive. Compared to the Burj Khalifa, I think it's 2 times bigger than the Burj Khalifa, so it's going to take time. And that's why sometimes you hear on the corners, on the hallways, people talking about the Vision 2040 already, which
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy, eh? Yeah.
Which I believe it's a speculation, but I wouldn't doubt if all of a sudden we start listen to it officially.
I think it's smart to get your own population excited. Every 10 years, you talk about a new vision, new building, galvanize them around you and invest.
Absolutely.
Like, I wish we had something
Absolutely.
like this in maybe in Europe or South America.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, let's keep the conversation.
Yeah, let's not. Yeah,
Middle
yeah.
East.
Let's not compare. Let's not compare.
But
Yeah.
man, I believe major projects will be completed by 2030.
Yeah.
Some of those
Like,
won't.
which ones do you think, if we may mention a couple of them?
Okay, Dria,
Yeah.
Qiddiya first phase.
Yeah.
Okay, first phase. Second phase probably not, but I don't think second phase is for 2030.
Neom, not yet. I don't think so.
Neom, you know, Sinai Island is ready.
Yeah.
Other projects are getting ready, but Octagon, no. The line, the piece of the project that has the stadium, the suspended stadium, yes, it's going to be ready, but not the 2.5 kilometers that were promised. It's too complex. It's too complex project, and I think it was underestimated, the complexity of this project to be ready by 2030.
Yeah.
But I think where the suspended stadium would be for the World Cup, yes, this project will be ready, and the Trojana project, yes, it's going to be ready because it's almost there. And this is another crazy thing. The Winter Games, the Asian Winter Games, is going to be hosted by Saudi Arabia. That's remarkable. So the vision of this single man, of course, he has a big team behind him, but I think all these ideas come from his own mind, and he's a genius.
But with the number of ambitious projects taking place in Saudi right now, don't you think that Saudi, because I've heard it, and people are already, some companies are already talking about it, the shortage of qualified professionals. So that on one hand. On the other hand, some foreign companies, maybe European companies, are in Saudi. They are complaining about the quota. You know, they have the program, the Saudization of, you know, companies. What is your take on these two things? Are we facing a shortage of qualified labor? Are we going to face that? And then Saudization.
Right. See, right now, today, the market is flooded with qualified people because, for example, Red Sea dismissed around 10,000 people recently. Neom dismissed around 6,000 people. Bechtel, for example, NACOM, they put on the market a lot of people. So the market is saturated. All of these people are really, really professionals and qualified. No. Yeah, and unfortunately, I can say no. The Saudization program cannot be utilized as an excuse. Yeah, you of course you have difficulties to find reliable Saudi nationals, but
it's a big population.
But the majority are so impressed with what the kingdom is doing that they want to be part of that. So
they're young and ambitious, energetic.
So they put the effort. What the problem? Where the problem lays? The problem is that they don't have experience. So then you every now and again you see managers, directors complaining about that. They shouldn't complain. They should.
Maybe that's their job. That's why they were invited into the country, right? To also to mentor them. You talked about mentoring before.
Exactly. And I don't want to be hypocrite to say, no, I am a perfect mentor, because of course I'm not. But when I have time and when I have someone really working alongside with me, it's a pleasure mentoring them. This weekend on Saturday, I was with a group of three Saudis, young Saudis, and I presented the resort. And these guys were, man, this is a brilliant idea, and then you're doing that for our country. I said, this is a sort of tribute that I'm paying to your country for all you did for me. This is mind blowing. I want to be part of that. So imagine if they want to be part of a resort, if they don't want to be part of Daria or Kidia
Yeah.
or the project. So the people, the skilled professionals, they should understand that this is an initiative that should be done in every country. You should
Exactly.
give the young fellows an opportunity for them to become professional like we consider ourselves.
Yeah.
And responding your question, I don't think there is a shortage. If there will be a shortage, it probably will be from next year, because everybody is saying that from 2026 things will become normal again, because the market is somehow weird this year and last year.
Normal in
So
what sense? For
in
those
in
who don't
in
know, are
in,
not
in
familiar.
okay, so up to 2023, the investment was massive, 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 and you could see the
Went like this.
flow of investment, and you
Yeah.
could see a massive number of hiring people coming to the country, new people coming to the country. So you could see new
Yeah.
faces, because after 13 years, I can tell you something. You see names that you worked before, or you see names that you're gonna work, but now you see names that you have never heard about it,
Yeah.
and that happened up to the end of 2023. 2024, things start changing, and I think it was a normal, a natural thing that happened, because the government was spending without control, and I think they realized that, and they said, okay, let's put a break on this and see. I want to see where my money is going. And I would do the same,
Yeah.
because you're putting 60 billion SAR to construct the line and you don't see progress.
Yeah.
So what's going
That's why
on?
they sacked some of the consulting companies,
Yeah, yeah,
PwC,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"What the
So
heck? Why
what
are you guys?" Yeah.
is that? What's going on?
Yeah.
So so we ended up having the market flooded with available professionals. Not all of them is still in the kingdom. They either went to Emirates or to Singapore or China or other countries. But we had experienced one effect, which I call the foundation engineer. This
Mm.
is my interpretation.
Yeah.
So, sorry, not foundation engineer. You foundation specialist.
Okay.
So until end of 2023, we would experience something very interesting. The guy, the Saudi national, the young fellow, graduate himself as a civil engineer, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, whatever the engineer, the discipline that he graduate, he comes to the market. And because of the number of new projects that were starting at the same time, he started in a consultancy
Yeah.
business as a junior engineer. And what a junior engineer would do, so as a manager or as a senior engineer, I would say, man, go to site and stick to the surveyor and learn how to make survey, and learn how to place a foundation on the ground, how to excavate, how to place the rebars, how to tie the rebars, what is the concrete that you're going to use, read the design, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, the same engineer, after working 3 4 months on that site, he get an offer in another big site that is starting, but they are offering him a engineer role.
Uh,
So he goes as an engineer, and he goes and experience the same thing. He goes to site, he goes to see how the foundation is placed. But this foundation is rounded, it's not square like the other ones. Yes, true, but you're doing the same thing. And after 2 months, 3 months, he's offering a senior engineer role. And then a
Is that even
manager,
good for his learning curve?
no,
No,
no.
right?
And what happened, it's a very sad effect that you have a 29 years old guy
Yeah.
directing a major site, a major construction site with no mentorship whatsoever. And moreover,
Yeah, that's very
sometimes
dangerous.
being
Yeah.
badly mentored by people that are not good managers, people
Yeah.
that don't know how to delegate, and people that don't know how to treat others well.
Yeah.
So I faced this problem with a Saudi director much younger than me, but you don't have mechanism
Yeah.
to finish that arrogancy because he was taught to act like that by others. And now, because he's higher and he's working for the client, he believes that he's entitled to betreat you,
So
to talk badly with you. So it's very sad. And he became a director of foundation. You know what I
that's
mean?
something to watch out for. That's very dangerous for the labor market in Saudi right now.
So this is something that caught my attention since I was in Jazan, because I
Yeah.
experienced this in Jazan, a lot of young people. The thing in Jazan was Royal Commission in Jazan was hire people from Jazan area or maximum from Asir area.
You're
And
trying
these
to
guys were
create employment around them. Yeah. To
and
keep them
these
happy,
guys
probably. Yeah.
were super humble,
Okay.
super humble. But because they found good leaders, they found good people, not only from Royal Commission,
Mm.
but from Parsons as well. But in Riyadh, Jeddah, Neom, I heard about Neom, and they are struggling with young fellows, young Saudis that are playing high roles,
Mm.
you know,
You like the
and
experience, probably
they
managerial
they,
experience,
they
not
need
only
to
a
get
technical
maturity.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it happened that these guys take masters, MBAs, doctorates, and
But
oh, I'm prepared to run a
no,
full business.
you need real life experience, on the ground, hands-on experience.
Yeah. So, man, this is an effect that is a sad effect that is happening. I don't see that being remediated then on the short term. It's going to be on the long term, but it's not everybody. It's not everywhere. You
Uh,
still find very, very, very good Saudi engineers, very good, humble Saudi professionals, and I love working with them. I love
yeah.
working with them. And frankly speaking, sometimes I like working more with them than an expat from my own country or from my own region, because these guys are humble enough to say, I want to learn from you. I want to learn how you talk in public, how you talk to your people like you talk, and you bring them all behind you or with you. This is something that I like doing. I like managing people because all of them walk hands tied with me.
Yeah.
100%. I never had anyone that said, I don't like William. You
That's
know,
good. What's your forecast for 2026? What do you think is in terms of projects? Is there anything
right.
that excites you that you've heard lately and you're
Um,
looking forward to see?
as a businessman or as a
Both,
person? Okay.
as a businessman,
As a,
as an engineer, and as a
okay.
person.
Okay. As a businessman, I think 2026 onwards will be quite exciting because you have major promising projects getting ready.
Mm.
Sindala Island, Shibara Resort, the
Tourism,
Ritz
baby.
Carlton,
Yeah.
and you can see projects getting ready and calling the globe attention. And that is going to be very good for the business that we are trying to implement, and the future ones that we are going to try to implement. So I can see that is going to create good opportunities, not only for my business but in many other business. Um, um, I hope, because the kingdom is organizing the cash flow. I believe so, and we can see a massive um, turnaround on the situation when you look at the relationship between the kingdom and the Chinese government.
Mm. Yeah.
So you can see a lot of Chinese investors and companies coming to Saudi. The government is also doing good by uh, attracting uh, car manufacturers such as Lucid, Toyota, Hyundai. Hyundai is going to build a massive factory in Saudi Arabia right now.
Where do you know where and which part you say?
It's in the Red Sea coast.
Let's see, yeah.
I don't know exactly where, but it's on the Red Sea coast. And I think the government and the country will have a massive, it will experience a huge transformation on the food sector.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an example. When I arrived in Saudi in 2013, pretty much 100% of the fruits in Saudi Arabia, part of the citrics, were imported. And now you see mango from Jeddah, you see the citrus coming from Najran, you see other fruits coming from Jazan, strawberry coming from Masir. So coffee being produced in the mountains of Asir.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot of food transformation. And the government, because of this meeting I had with the Minister of Industry, they are putting a lot of incentives for the fish farms. I didn't know, but they are investing billions on fish farms. And it's a massive investment. So you will see a transformation on the market in terms of consumption of seafood. And personally, and you may ask why I didn't put that on the business aspect. Personally, I really hope we can materialize the Edge Resort, the Saudi Edge Resort. Business-wise, why I didn't put that on the business topic, because I trust so well this project that business-wise, the project will be materialized.
Yeah.
We just need to know whether it's going to be in Saudi Arabia or other place.
Yeah.
But personally, I really hope that in 2026 it becomes a remarkable year to me and my partners and my team, because of the initiation of the Saudi Edge Resort design, and we need to decide.
I think it will happen. I think it's part of the Vision 2030. Part of Vision 2030 is about sports, health and wellness, tourism. You take every box there, and then you have the World Cup is coming up, education, even like we talked about this before. So
yeah. And I wish I could show the location on this conversation, but I don't think it's the right moment. But the location is
maybe we can add it to the video. By the way, if you can send me the video of the on your website, so maybe we can actually add it to the video, to the podcast, if you want.
Absolutely, I can do that. The place is so propitious for sports that we are in advanced conversation with Red Bull, trying to bring air shows, parachuting shows, the motorbike shows, even before we officialize the materialization of the resort. So it's a world inside a tiny area in the edge of the world, which is an iconic place in Saudi Arabia. For those that don't know, Google it. The edge of the world. It's amazing.
The landscape is beautiful. We've actually been contacted by the ice hockey professionals from North America, and I think even in the Edge Resort, you could even build like an indoor ice skating arena. Why not?
Why not? Why not? We it's a world that can be explored. But personally, one of the aspects is this. The second aspect is that it's been 13 years that I separate from my family. I didn't see my daughter grew up. Of course, I see them very now and again, but I wish I can find a way to spend more time with them. My daughter is 12 now. She's going to become 13 in February, and she's becoming
young
a teenager.
Lady now.
So my wife said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle the teenager phase alone without you. So I hope I can be able to either bring them here to Saudi which they like. My wife loves Saudi Arabia. She really enjoyed
And you
being
have
here.
international schools there as well. And
We do. The problem is it's too expensive.
yeah,
Too
yeah, exactly.
expensive. The Prince, please control the
Yeah,
prices of the
yeah,
school as well. Recently, he
exactly.
controlled the prices
Yeah,
of the renting.
the rent. Yeah, now education
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
yeah. So let's put an eye on the education.
yeah,
But man, I believe 2026 will be very promising, and it can be a new start for Saudi Arabia uh, specifically. I believe that it's going to be a new start for many countries, and I wish we can terminate these conflicts, unnecessary conflicts, Croatia, Ukraine,
yeah.
Israel, and Palestine.
Understand.
So. Um, of course, there are interests, but I hope they finish that and then we can see the economy at a global level boost up and
Exactly.
have some peace because it's not good.
Yeah. But
It's not
anyway,
good.
I think the region is very promising. I mean, look at Syria. So you have now the Saudis and the Qataris are investing in Syria and building up Syria. You
Yeah,
know, tourism. So who knows? Maybe, as you said, the Saudi edge of the world will be like, you know, you will franchise it to other places, to other parts
yeah,
of the region. Seriously,
yes,
and
yeah,
even Egypt as well. So for the World Cup, you will have people going to Saudi, but then visiting Egypt, going to the sightseeing while you're going to the matches.
yeah,
A bit like Morocco and Spain now. 2030,
yeah,
they're hosting the World Cup. So,
yeah.
so it's a right place to be.
So so yeah, Saudi Arabia is a quite exciting place. If you want to come and have the experience, come and enjoy. If you have questions, if our friend Moses allow,
Yeah, of
contact me.
course.
I would be happy to give
Yes.
not only recommendations and opinion, but I can also share the packages that we are offering on the market. We have luxury packages, we have adventure packages, we have packages for even during summertime where Saudi is like red hot. And we have
Yeah.
places that you can go, we have brilliant experience with the weather, with the regions. If you want to see animals, come and join us. It's wonderful. It's a world inside a single country.
Yeah. All right. So we'll share your contact details under the video.
Okay.
Um, People can reach out to you on LinkedIn. I know you're
Yeah.
quite active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And was there anything I should have asked you today, but I didn't?
Um, Good question. I think that is the most difficult question
Yeah,
of this
exactly.
program.
But we're having a part two and part three. So if there's nothing, we can can give you a couple of days to think.
um, um, right. I think related to Saudi Arabia, we pretty much cover many things. If
Yeah.
you want to know more aspect my personal life, I'd be happy to give more. But I think I
Yeah.
gave a lot of information.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I think this is it. I'm really glad that you're interviewing me and you opened this space for me. Uh, you seem to be a wonderful person, and I really believe that we can construct a very good relationship, not only professional but personally. And I would be happy to present something else in the short term about the resort, about the packages, and it's going to be very nice
It'd
to
be amazing.
participate again.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. I look forward to having a part two, maybe to go into details, to talk exclusively about the Saudi edge of the world, show people why it matters, and then connect it to Vision 2030. You know,
Absolutely,
uh,
absolutely,
that I think I believe actually that a lot of people would be interested in knowing your vision. It's a grand vision, and it makes sense from yes, as I said, it aligns with Vision 2030, but even for any investor around the world. You know, it's a very
absolutely,
interesting place. It's happening now, and this is, you know, several industries would be interested in having a look and having a conversation even with you about how they could contribute or how they could collaborate with you guys, with you and your team.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we are open to receive any kind of consultation and talk to potential investors, potential partners. But whenever you want to do this interview exclusively about the Saudi Ed Resort, I'm happy to go through it. We can open scenes, part of the videos, part of the
Yeah.
project online, and share with the public, and it would be fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, William.
Moses. All the
Bye.
best.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Welcome to the Edge Resort, a luxurious haven nestled near the iconic edge of the world, a breathtaking wonder of Saudi Arabia's desert. Located in one of the most mind-blowing and spectacular landscape views, this resort seamlessly integrates luxury and nature, offering an unparalleled experience to those who seek both adventure and tranquility. Its prime location, perfectly aligned with the dramatic cliffs and vast canyons, makes it a truly environmentally friendly haven where nature's beauty is preserved and celebrated. Embracing the soul of the desert, the Edge is a testament to the Saudi culture preservation. Here, ancient Bedouin traditions meet modernity, creating a space that honors the past while paving the way for the future. As we move closer to the resort's central structure, the true brilliance of its architecture comes into view. The building's sleek lines and elegant curves were carefully designed to achieve perfect landscape alignment, ensuring that it fits seamlessly into the surrounding environment. Every detail reflects a commitment to environmental protection, ensuring that this iconic resort leaves only a light footprint on its surroundings. From the moment guests arrive, they are greeted by an extremely attractive venue that delivers an unforgettable first impression. The grand entrance opens up to a vast and airy lobby where luxury and warmth meet. The check-in process is smooth and personalized, with VVIP treatment and service offered to all. At the top of the Edge Resort, high above the desert floor, we designed a space of calm and comfort. This space is more than just a place to unwind, it's a destination in itself, where every corner invites you to immerse in tranquility and rejuvenation. Designed as a hub for global events, the Edge boasts an incredible multi-use convention center that can accommodate a range of business needs, from intimate meetings to large-scale conferences. This space is a promising business generator, ensuring that the resort becomes a key player in hosting the forthcoming worldwide events that Saudi Arabia is set to hold over the next decade. Its flexibility allows for both corporate and cultural events, making it a perfect venue for business events. The Edge Resort boasts state-of-the-art sports facilities designed to cater to the elite of the sporting world, featuring a FIFA standard stadium and adjacent complexes that include gyms, secondary fields and medical centers. Whether for training or competition, the Edge is equipped to host the best football teams locally and internationally, cementing its reputation as a provisional home for top-tier athletes. The sports complex is truly a perfect spot for sports events. The resort boasts a world-class equestrian center with facilities designed to provide a first-class experience for both beginners and seasoned riders. This thoughtfully designed facility caters to riders of all levels, offering both leisure and professional training. The Edge is a family-friendly environment, offering a vast array of activities for all ages. From skateboarding parks to rock climbing walls, there's something for everyone. For those seeking relaxation, the luxurious spa provides an oasis of calm with treatments tailored for a rejuvenating experience. Families can explore art exhibitions, while children enjoy safe and fun environments, creating memories that last a lifetime. The variety of activities ensures that this resort is truly designed for all kinds of guests. For golf enthusiasts, the Edge is nothing short of a dream come true. The resort's championship course, with its stunning desert vistas, is set to become a hub for golf practitioners and players from around the globe. Its facilities are world-class, designed to host the world's most prestigious golf tournaments, making it a key destination on the international golf circuit. The resort's pool areas offer the perfect blend of relaxation and entertainment. During the day, guests can unwind under the sun in beautifully designed spaces, while by night, the pool transforms into a vibrant social hub with poolside bars, gourmet restaurants, and breathtaking views from the Mirador. At the Edge, luxury and comfort go hand in hand. The suites, apartments and chalets are designed with innovative concepts, each offering modern amenities and stunning views. With 6-star accommodations, guests are guaranteed an experience that surpasses even the highest expectations. This resort is designed to overcome any high standards and levels, ensuring that every guest's stay is nothing short of extraordinary. The beach area is home to private chalets that offer a secluded escape. These spaces combine luxurious comfort with direct access to the pristine oasis landscape. We are excited to welcome you at Edge of the World A-Class Tourism Resort, a project designed to break all patterns in the hospitality industry. Whether for leisure, sports or business, the Edge is a game changer, setting new standards in luxury, sustainability and innovation. From luxurious accommodations to sustainable innovations, from golf tournaments to business conventions, this resort is not just a place to stay, but a place to experience the best that nature and modernity can offer. Welcome to a future of possibilities at the Edge Resort, a destination like no other.